So hey everybody, this is going to be another quick video. I got a question in the comments on my last video from Sparky, and it's probably a good idea that I explain this. And he asked, how did I do the number boards when usually if you paint over a number board, the light's not going to go show through. Well, that's probably a good thing to find out how to do that. So it's not really any magic. The way I did it, because I told you on this one I had to repaint the number boards up here on 4160. So I hope you can see that. The light's not pointing the right way. There it is. So these number boards, yes, I did them. So how did I do them? Well, if you know from the factory, those are printed on, and the number boards on that GP7, of course, it's a proto, and Athearn's the same way. They use clear plastic is all they use. So with a clear plastic, the way you have to do it is with a decal. You can't really paint them, because if you paint them, the light's not going to show through. So what I did is I've got my micro scale decal sheet here. So I will show you that there is a strip of numbers along here that those strip of numbers are what I used, and you can see where I cut stuff out. So unfortunately, it's nice if you can find numbers and you can find the 3 or 4 together or 2 that you need. No such luck for me. So what I did is I cut individual numbers out, and when I did that, I cut them, I left as much black on either side of the decals as I could. So that way that I could space the numbers out properly. So when the first thing you do on the number boards, you got to clean them off. And I use a product called Wash Away. I think Scale Coat's a manufacturer. So Wash Away is a great product. I love using it, because if you leave it on a minute, it will you can just wipe any decal off. If you leave it on 10 or 15 minutes, you're going to take the whole paint job off. So be real careful with it. And as you apply it, I just start rubbing it as soon as I apply it, and it takes about 30 seconds to a minute, but you can see the decals start to come off, and it's just a great product, because and then once I do that, I take it and run it under water so it neutralizes it, so it can't take any of the paint off. So that's how I take decals off. The number boards on this GP7 were clear plastic, and they're integrated with the light lenses as well. And I think no, they're not integrated with the marker light, not the marker lights, but the classification lights. So what I did is I painted the number, I stripped off the number boards, the numbers that are on there. I put a coat of, I just have some Testors clear lacquer, and this is probably the best stuff to use for that. Anytime you're decaling, you have to put down a lacquer coat first, a clear gloss coat. Gloss coat are smoother than flat, so the decal adheres properly when you put down a clear gloss coat. So, and that's on any kind of paint. So obviously there's no paint to begin with. You have to have a paint layer down first. So the only way to do it on a number board is with a clear coat. So after I did that, I applied the decals, then put on my Solvaset. I use Solvaset. You can use, I know Microscale's got their version, and most paint manufacturers, Testors has a decal fix version, Vallejo's got one, so any one of them. Once I put that on there, I waited for it to dry, and then I put another coat of gloss over it. So all I did was cut these numbers out of the decal sheet with the black background. Now, what's going to happen when you cut numbers out of a decal sheet? Once in a while you will find light showing through. After I did it with the clear lacquer and I put it back in, I turned on the lights so the lights show through the number board, and I found out between the decals there were actually cracks of light showing through. So that was really easy to fix. All I did was take some Tester's gloss black and open it up and use a toothpick. I just dabbed the end of the toothpick in the paint, and between the numbers I just finally went over it with the black paint in between the numbers, so that way it fills in the cracks in between the numbers on the number board. Now you don't have to do that, of course, if you find your numbers all together, and you can just cut out a strip. So that is the way you add decals or add numbers back on the number board. You have to do it with decals. If you paint over it, you're gonna block out the light, of course, which is so I find this is the best way to do it. Now you might find that I know some railroads use white backgrounds on their number boards, and I'm sure you can find decals that have white backgrounds as well for their numbers, and you'd have to do it the exact same way. So like I said, once I finished it, I turned on the forward and reverse lights and just went in between it with the toothpick. Now the good thing about using the toothpick, even if you, and of course I have to use a visor because I can't see that close without a visor with a magnifying lens on it. The good thing about that is you're doing it with a toothpick. If you mess up a little bit, just keep another toothpick handy and wipe, use the other end of the toothpick to wipe paint off if you got some on the numbers themselves. So because you've started on a gloss coat, it comes off real easily. So that's the best way to do it that I know how. So if anybody else has any ideas, mine worked out really well. So as you can see, the numbers came up very clearly, and the light shows through the decals really well. So that's how I did it. So if anybody else has any comments, let me know, and I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks.